Hi YouTube, it's Pen Paper 19. I just finished filming day 7 of the Colorvent calendar and I realized I did it completely wrong. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to have to redo it. Let me show you what happened. Here's day 7. It's called Rover. Rover is a color inspired by unmanned rovers designed to explore the surface of the planets. Now, what I didn't realize until the very end was that it says that it's glistening. I had no idea. So I did not bother to mix that ink to get the glistening particles, and instead I proceeded to do all of my normal tests without the glistening particles. So, in a super quick summary, it's beautiful. I love it. And actually, it's a perfect combination, I would say, of brown and gray. It's actually too brown to be similar to any of my grays, and it's too gray to be similar to any of my browns. So it's actually really fascinating ink. The two inks that I had come across that are interesting to just compare to, because when I saw this, I thought of Kirisame, so the Paille di Roshizuku Kirisame, but Kirisame is much grayer, bluer in tone. And then the other ink I thought of was, here's Colorverse Under the Shade, which is way too cool. And then there's the Colorverse One Small Step, which I always thought was a warmer, had a brown tone, but next to Rover, not even close. Rover is definitely more interesting. I really like this ink. And then I also did a swatch in both 2024 old Tomorrow River paper and new Tomorrow River paper, and I love it. And in the new paper, this ink did not bleed through, although it did horribly for Kilonova. And then I had even said, here you go, here's my writing sample. Beautiful. Very readable, beautiful ink. Is it brown? Is it gray? It's both, and I love that. I'm gonna now have to do this again, acknowledging that there's glistening particles at the bottom, and I need to account for that. So if you look at the bottom here, it's silver glistening. So, oops, my bad. I will get to use, this is the first time I'm using this muddler as it's supposed to be, which is, this is a glistening ink muddler. So that's fascinating. I'm not gonna, so I don't know if that works, but let me try that on a swatch card and see what happens. I don't typically like using glistening inks in my pen. I used to love glistening inks, and I actually have a fair number of them, particularly when I first started using fountain pens and fountain pen inks, maybe, when was that? Maybe 2015 or so. But I really don't, it's just too fussy for me now, and I don't really use them. I can definitely see a little bit of glistening and sparkle in there. It's pretty subtle. I don't know if I mixed it really well. Let me see. I don't know. No, there's still a lot more there. But regardless, I can definitely see a little bit more sparkle. Let me write and see what it says here. I can compare the two swatches, actually. That'll be interesting. Okay. Here we go. They actually look really similar. I will give it that. Obviously this one's wet, this is dry, so it's gonna have a slightly different cast. And in fact, you can still see a little bit of sparkle in there. I just didn't realize it. There's maybe just a tad bit more, and I just smudged it, so that's lovely. Let me see if I can muddle it just a little bit more and get more of that glistening out on paper. Maybe I can do it at the bottom. Maybe down here. As a nod to the glistening particles. And then maybe the same here. I'm really afraid of bleeding through on the 2025 Sanzen. So I really don't want to go crazy. But, okay. I guess this is why you read the bottle really well when it comes out. Okay. Yep, yeah, okay. I don't know if you can tell, but there is definitely a difference between this swatch down here and that swatch up there. It's definitely some gray, some silver glistening particles in this gray-brown ink. Yep, there too. I wonder, does that make a difference in how likely it is to bleed? No, it looks pretty good actually. Good. That's good. As I said, I really like this color, but I don't really use glistening inks much anymore. So I'll have to see how I'll use this because I really do like this ink. Let me show you an updated writing sample. Okay, yep, there is a big difference between the first number 7 and the second number 7. Lot more sparkle in the 7, and you know, sparkle in a gray works really nicely. It's really pretty. Really like Rover. Okay, well, after the second video, this is Rover Glistening. It's really nice. I really like it. I will see you tomorrow for day 8.